Ladies and gentlemen, Toriko, la la, woo! Ew! Whenever I do that, I have to emphasize the bottom lip. Gotta stick it out like you're a JoJo's character. You have to emphasize the bottom lip, people. Bottom lip. Okay, so let us focus on Toriko. Now, before I get started with the review, let me say a few things. Well, actually, no, one thing. So today is Sunday afternoon. And this video, because I have to edit the video among other videos, is going to probably come out Monday morning. Now, my plan next time round is to have the live reaction chapters. So One Piece, Toriko, and Bleach. I'm going to do the live reactions on Thursday/Friday. Then you're going to have the chapter reviews come out on Saturday/Sunday. And then you're going to have, if needed, a separate translation comparison video. So for Toriko, it would be like the Viz translation, Batoto, and then Manga Stream or maybe Manga Panda. And I will compare the translations of each of the scanlations and then the official Viz translation. If there are any major translation differences when it comes to the scanlations compared to the official Viz translation. And basically that would mean that some weeks there would be 3 videos for one chapter. A lot of videos for one chapter, but I'm trying to cover all the bases here. And I know that sometimes the translations matter a lot. So I figure I can do a smaller video for that, just specifically on the translation differences between the chapters. So that being said, we have a lot of shit to cover for this video. Oh man. I mean, it was so much shit. I took actual notes, like notes here. And I also have some math. I did some very quick math, and it's mainly about God. Ooh, and then the potential is insane. So let me focus on the chapters right now. First of all, when I read the chapters second time, third time round, noticed that it's mainly focused on story progression. Characterization for the most part is lacking when it comes to Toriko as of late. And the main reason why is because Toriko seems to be accelerating towards the finish line. So we're foregoing characterization and we're focusing mainly on story progression. And as a result, the pacing for a lot of chapters is really quick. So it's something that I'm not a fan of because I think characterization is key. Very important. That's why it's always one of the key points that I focus on per chapter, characterization. Characterization / character development, depending on how far they want to go with characterization. But the fact of the matter is that as of late, Toriko has been lacking in that. I mean, it already doesn't have a lot of characterization for a lot of characters, let alone substantive character development. But nowadays, it's like, it's like a drought of characterization. So it's really unfortunate because, like, I like where the story is going in a lot of cases, though there are some very deep pits. Like, we're gonna skip 3 arcs. Yes, I'm still not over that. I mean, I'm still not. News Earth Atom skipped. That still hurts, man. It still hurts. But despite that, we have to move forward. So let us focus here on the pacing, which again, like I said before, is relatively quick. When it comes to chapter 372, it has around 4 parts, 4 major parts. When it comes to chapter 373, it has like 6 or 7 major parts. And it's like, okay, to be fair, I could take 2 parts together. So, okay, if I do that, it has 5 to 6 parts, not 6 to 7. It has a lot of parts to that particular chapter. And in that chapter, it has, I think, the fastest pace among the chapters that I'm reviewing because it has the most, I think, story progression. And then finally, chapter 374 has around 4 to 5 parts as well. So when it comes to pacing, each of the chapters has relatively quick pacing. Chapter 373 more so than chapter 372 and 74. So now let's get on with the the characterization. And first up to bat for characterization is going to be the big G-O-D. God. Oh. Now, for God, the characterization mainly comes in one form, and in one form alone, and that's power. Just straight up power. What can God do? Now, God fights with that tongue. We already know that. And we're getting to see mainly the speed of God's tongue. I did some very basic math here, okay? Chapter 372. That's where it all starts. When God beelines his tongue through all of these creatures, and his tongue is so long and it's so quick where in an instant it sticks to his backside. Now, and so his tongue went around the world. And mind you, this is a what? What is this? This is a Neptune. Oh, say it fucking with me, people. This is a Neptune class planet. Oh joy. Neptune class motherfuckers, all right? Not Saturn, Neptune. So, based on this, the speed of light is 3 times 10 to the 8th power meters per second. That is the speed of light. So that's, I mean, technically it's like 299 million, whatever. So basically it's 300 million meters per second. That is the speed of light. Now, if we take the distance of the circumference of the planet of Toriko, which is 220 kilometers. And so in order to get a sense of speed here, we're going to use the very, very basic velocity rate equation, which is v equals distance divided by time. So we're going to have the distance, which is 220 million meters. And for the time, because it was an instant, I used 2 times. The first one I used was 1 second. So you have 2.2 times 10 to the 8th power for meters. And then you have 1 second. And when you divide that, it's 2.2 times 10 to the 8th power meters per second. However, there is another number that Mitsutoshi loves. So he loves this number. And this number is not 1 second, but it's 0.1. Oh, people. 0.1. So if we use the number that Mitsutoshi always loves when it comes to scaling like instant time, like 0.1 and whatnot, well, do the same formula, v equals d over t. You have the distance the same of 220 million meters. Your time now is 0.1 second. And another way to read 0.1 second is 1 times 10 to the negative 1 power. So then based on that, when you got 2.2 times 10 to the 8, and then you got on the bottom 1 times 10 to the negative 1, you do the basic math, and it winds up being 2.2 times 10 raised to the 9th power. 2.2 times 10 to the 9th power is what? That is 2 billion. That is, people, that is 2 billion. 200 million. Yeah. 2 billion 200 million meters per second. Which means that the speed of God's tongue would be 7 times, a little bit more, but 7 times faster than the speed of light. Just soak that shit in. Niggas, soak that shit in. 7 times faster than the speed of light. Now again, that's assuming that it's 0.1 seconds. But he does love that fucking number. Now if you want to, you can double check the math. It's relatively easy. That being said, ladies, you see the speed. The speed is ferociously fast. And when you're potentially, let me not say it as if it's concrete, when you are potentially 7 times faster than the speed of light, nigga, you fucking quick. Oh, baby, yeah. The heart. So not only does God have phenomenal strength to pull in an entire moon and swallow that moon, but also God's tongue is disgustingly quick. And on top of that, we get to see some of God's destructive power, where God's attacks in chapter 374 against Neodemon Acacia were somewhat mitigated because Neo munches on the attack. And we can assume that because Neo was hit head first, and we see it munching, the force of God's attack, the force of God's tongue attack, was nerfed to a degree. So, we saw God, in like an instant, plunge its tongue through the ground and on the opposite side of the planet. Ah, man. And it did so in rapid fire sessions. I also forgot to mention that as well. When it came to God consuming all the creatures around it, God was able to deliver that tongue speed in rapid fire sessions. God is just overwhelming. God's even punking Acacia right now. God is punking Acacia right now. And Acacia goes on and on about, I'm the universe, like, I'm the ultimate existence, and God is punking him. Holy shit, man. Alright, so that is the characterization for God. So that is the first bit of characterization for these chapters. And that's God for chapter 372 and 374. Now, we're gonna move on to... Well, let's go chapter by chapter here. So we have some for Sunny and for Coco. It's actually mainly more for Sunny, because Coco, he has like the poison, which he can then manipulate Grinpatch. And Grinpatch, I guess for characterization, you could say that Grinpatch is not like a full-blown addict, but he's not really like a relevant character anymore. But more so, it's for Sunny. We've seen like Tommy Rod sometimes in the Saiyan hair, but I guess most folks wouldn't have suspected that Tommy Rod would have come back in full. One of the attributes mentioned by Gigi when it came to the hair demon that controlled the Milky Way galaxy was it being able to actually gain control of the creatures that it consumed. So what we're seeing is the same feature in Sunny, where Sunny kind of makes Tommy Rod his underling when he consumed the Tommy Rod. But Tommy Rod is not really like serving him as like in a sense of like taking orders, but more so he just comes back and he's there to team up with Starzer. So that is a feature of Sunny's Saiyan hair. Then for that same chapter, chapter 372, there is also Toriko talking to Acacia about how he wouldn't even mind eating on the same dinner table as Acacia, which is like no real surprise given how Toriko acts on a regular basis. But Acacia basically saying fuck you, and then him utilizing the back channel in a, I guess, unique way where he does the back channel hard, and he condenses time to such a point where 1 second equals 1 month. Wow. That's, oh, woo! Woo! Good fucking lord. So, basically, Acacia has that level of back channel. And that's really it when it comes to characterization. So, once again, you have God, you have Sunny mainly, I would Coco, yeah, but Sunny more so. You have Toriko, and then you have Acacia. For Acacia and Toriko, not that big of a deal. Sunny, I think it's actually a pretty big fucking deal. Like, whoa, like he can actually do that? Yeah. And then God, since God is right now the ultimate at capture level 10,000, yeah, that's kind of fun for God too. Seeing what can God do, aside from just swallow a fucking moon. So, moving on to chapter 373. For characterization, first up is Aimaru. And Aimaru, he has a gourmet demon inside of him. And when he ate another News, Earth, and Atom, he could utilize that gourmet demon. And this is abnormal, or it shouldn't be the case when it comes to the gourmet knights. Because the gourmet knights take pride in like being able to like eat simple food and whatnot and whatnot. But here he is being led by his appetite, which is, I guess, unbecoming of a gourmet knight. But here he is being led by his gourmet appetite to center. And that is mainly for story progression, which I'll get to. I will get to that. But when it comes to Aimaru himself, again, the fact that he, a gourmet knight, the leader of the gourmet knights, is being led by appetite is fairly unusual to say the least. But he does have a gourmet demon, and apparently his gourmet demon told him a lot. And that's something that was kind of convenient. How his gourmet demon was telling him a lot about like the world's origins and about Pangea and about like what Center really is. Like that's the kind of shit where I was like, how does your gourmet demon like know it? Like who is Aimaru's gourmet demon? Like what the fuck's going on there? So Those are things that I really want answers to, but given the way Toriko is going right now, I don't see that happening. Then for characterization, like I kind of want to slide in Darrow somewhere because we get to see him move. But a nigga moving ain't characterization. But he's finally doing some shit. But that's not characterization. That's no. Okay, so the next point of characterization is gonna be Ume. And Ume, he has the courage to go to where God is. He's gonna try and assist them in the prep of God or whatever. He has some of the golden cookware. And he talks about how he has food luck. Or, yeah, like Zeus makes the deduction that he has food luck after Ume notifies us that he has a certain unique power. And it's something that I thought was a little bit too far-fetched, but then I did some back reading, and then I read and I found out once again that this dude Ume, when Joe was going to the dining planet where the Grimming nobles were, you need food luck in order to see the road that leads to the dining planet. And Ume could see that road. So it's something that I forgot about, where Ume actually does have food luck. And that food luck was shown via him being able to see Joey go towards the dining planet. So when I first saw it in chapter 374, I thought it was, kind of bullshit, but I forgot about that entirely. So that was my bad. And then for the final part of characterization for chapter 373 is going to be, again, Toriko. It's not really like new characterization, but the fact that he did something that no one else has ever attempted to do, which is take a bite out of Neo. Like, bro, what? Like, he is the one that saw the exploding saverness in Neo, which to me, like, I can see why, given the fact that Neo has consumed so many creatures across the universe, possibly universes, but he's covered in boils and whatnot. I'm like, no, it's so gross. It's grody. It's nasty. All right, I'm not gonna lie to you. It is gross. Seeing him take a bite out of boils. Oh. But when he took a bite out of Neo, Acacia, he had that face on, like I'm salty. Like, this dude gets so salty so quick. It's funny. And now he's gonna put Neo, the one, in his full courses meat dish. Good luck to you, brother. I mean, good luck. Neo is supposed to be the ultimate. I mean, right now, God is the ultimate. But at some point, Neo will become the ultimate. And what's also weird about this, too, is that Acacia is technically human. So his meat dish is going to be basically another human being. Granted, yes, it is a Grimming demon, but also human. So it's like, he's gone pseudo Hannibal Lecter. Like, you can kind of escape it because he is Grimming demon right now, but at the same time, he's also human. So it's, like, we're treading a really thin silver line here. Okay, we'll see how it works out. But that is the characterization for Toriko in that chapter. So it's major given the full course, but at the same time, him taking a bite out of Neo, it's unprecedented given the environment of Toriko. But it's not surprising given the fact that Toriko is the MC and he does shit like that. He does. He is a glutton in earnest. He's the ultimate glutton. I'm not that surprised, but it's still fucking surprising. Okay, so finally, characterization for chapter 374. There is some for Adam, where Adam, he is talking to Toriko as to how he did see the power of their Grimming demons, Toriko, Sunny, Coco, and Zebra, and that's why he himself was actually kind of tranced or infatuated with training them with Enbu. He saw hope in them when it came to beating Bambina, and he wanted to see it through. And then there is characterization in the sense of Acacia, because Acacia, he uses a gourmet technique skill. You know how Toriko has fork and knife, Sunny has the spatula, Coco has the mold spear, Zebra has the voice cutter. Well, here Acacia uses one for the first time. And that is the gourmet palm, like the freaking Buddha palm type of thing. That was fairly cool. I did like that. Granted, it wasn't a huge attack, but it was cool seeing that Acacia, what does God use to eat with? His hands. Yeah, all right, bro. Okay, I see where you're going with that. So I did like seeing that how he actually does have those types of gourmet skills, and he also has another version of it called the gourmet punch. So we never saw him before, and I did like seeing those in chapter 374. That is it for characterization for all 3 chapters. Now, we get on to the meat, the substance, the story progression, the holy fuck. We have a lot of stuff to cover for that, probably. I'll try and go through it relatively quick, because I got notes. So for the first thing for story, for chapter 372, God doing its thing, obviously. God is wiping out all the creatures in front of it. And then you have Starjun, who had his fire dome that was also consumed in an instant by God. Then after that, you have the setup for the fights. And then you have what is, again, a very shocking moment of not only the return of Grimpatch via the poison, because he is addicted to Koko's poison, but also it is the return of Tommy Rod, which is still shocking in my mind. Like, seriously, like, this guy who went out, like, he went out beastly. I mean, if you were gonna go out one way, that would be that way. That was beastly as fuck. Like, him and Sunny, woo, man, that was one of the highlight moments in Pre-Time Skip. Tommy Rod's death. And knowing that he's back is shocking, yes, but is it a good thing? Is it actually a good thing to have Tommy Rod back? And I would say no, honestly. Yeah, we have seen, like, the image of Tommy Rod in Sunny's Saiyan hair, so it probably was foreshadowed via that sense. However, when you have a moment like that, a supposed death, I mean, like, you even had, like, the narrator. The narrator was doing some shit when Tommy Rod got consumed by the Saiyan hair. Like, on this day, Tommy Rod of the Bushoku Kai passed away. Like, the narrator was doing some shit like that. And then to see Tommy Rod back, it's like, what? So, that moment, Pre-Time Skip, one of the best moments in Toriko, is now mitigated. Heavily so, probably. Well, actually, no, hold on. What? Well, he is back, yes, but he didn't do much. Which, well, at least on screen, which kind of sucked. But the fact of the matter is that the dude, he went out like a fucking champion. And now he's back, and then he gets decimated like 2 chapters afterwards. It's like, what? Like, I do think it's shocking, but I think it does more harm than good to bring back Tommy Rod, even if you had foreshadowing of Tommy Rod's return via seeing him sometimes in Sunny Saiyan hair. But Grimpatch is fine, because Grimpatch, we kind of knew that he was alive. Yeah, Grimpatch actually never died. Like, we all knew that. He was just kind of like intoxicated ever since Koko fucked him up. So from a story standpoint, that was pretty good, bringing Grimpatch back. That makes a lot more sense. Sunny and Tommy Rod, again, I would have to say, again, that does more harm than good. So not only do you have that fight set up between those 3, Starjun, Tommy Rod, and Grimpatch against, like, Nice Knee Dorez, like another one of the Bishoku Kai, like, head chefs or whatever they're called. But then also you have the setup of Joey versus Sunny, Koko, and Zebra. That was a beastly setup. All 3 gourmet demons were out. They were ready to go. And then we see how that ends up in chapter 374, which is, I think, very disappointing. Very disappointing. I'll get to that real soon. So, chapter 372 does set that up. And at that point in time, it's a pretty boss-ass moment. And then you're also seeing the fight between Toriko and Acacia in earnest now. Those 2 one-on-one. There is some mutual respect between the 2 initially. And then Acacia says, basically, fuck all that noise. I'm gonna kill you. And then Toriko's like, no. I have the face of hope. I have the face of dreams. I have the face of pure gluttony. That's Toriko. That is all of the story progression for chapter 372. Now for chapter 373. Whoo! Let's start here, people. Dragon King Neros finally spreads his wings and takes flight. Oh, baby! I've been waiting for this guy. You see him pass by Tengu Brunch and Aimaru. This dude is beelining to whatever location, hopefully around God, because Guinness did have the Howl to Arms, and it looks like all of the 8 kings, even Moon. If Darius is gonna go there, Moon better be there as well. There ain't no fucking reason why Moon shouldn't be there, because Moon is too chill. Savage. but he's too chill. So it looks like they're all gonna go and they're gonna take care of business. I do want to see what happened between Heracles and Bambina, because after Heracles did like the snot thing, like, you know, like the sigh breath, he destroyed that piece of Acacia, and Bambina did roughly around the same time, and Bambina was like, oh, playmate? What? I want to see what happened there. Like, hopefully we get even a small flashback of Bambina meeting Heracles. Like, that would be cool as shit. That would be fucking amazing. Like, what if, like, Bambina went through the hole, and then Heracles is there, Bambina and Heracles, like, face off for, like, a few seconds, and then they hear the howl that Guinness made. That would be pretty fucking beastly. Oh, my God, yeah. Like, when those two face off, immediate Emperor's Ring. Like, oh, shit. Heracles? Oh, Bambina. Okay, come on, man. Fuck. All right. Fact of the matter here is that Dragon King, he's going to the location. The Howl to Arms has been answered, and the answer is yes. Now, before Darius, we have Area 0. Area 0 is in Area 1. There is an area within an area inception. And within Area 0, beneath like the surface of like the planet or whatnot, that is where the initial meteorite hit that had the Gourmet cells. That is center. That is the origin of Gourmet life across the planet. That is the origin of the Gourmet cells across the planet. That is where it is. Area 0 and Area 1, and in Area 0 is where that meteorite is. And what's even more awesome to find out was that at that point in time, when the meteorite hit, it was during the Pangea days. That, yeah. Oh, yeah, yep. That was cool to find out. Just finding out that during that point in time, Earth was going through Pangea. Because mind you, their planet is essentially like our planet. It's planet Earth, but it's been souped up via the Gourmet cells. The planet itself is kind of alive. We all know that. So to find out that the Gourmet cell meteorite hit Earth 300 million years ago, that is awesome to find that out. And the continents split apart, and then they start to grow because of the Gourmet cells. And it all stems from that 1 point Area 0. And also, I believe that since we saw Darius come from Area 0, my guess here is that he was in Area 0. He was guarding center. Why exactly, I'm not too sure. But hopefully we'll find out. But that was cool, knowing that, once again, Area 0 is where the meteorite landed, and it landed on the planet during the Pangea days, which is why the full course, when you have the first letter of every full course, it spells out Pangea. That's awesome. Love that. So that theory was spot on, made perfect sense, and now we see why. Love it. Fucking love it. From then on, from a story standpoint, we move on to the Apollo and like Tepe and Ume situation, and how, according to Apollo, there was golden cookware somewhere in space, which, or at least the materials are, they're in space. At least there's some in space that he found, which is still confusing for me. I always understood that there was going to be like some space stuff going on, and now we kind of know that the reason why there's space stuff in Torigo is because after the planet's destroyed, the people that are on like Acacia's side, like Joey and like all those old dudes and whatnot, no females in sight, which is very unfortunate. Well, no, Joey is technically a female, but it really doesn't count. But either way, fuck it. You get my point here. You have them build a spaceship for the sake of leaving the planet after it's destroyed, after it's consumed. That we knew. But the materials to actually make the golden cookware being found in space, I think is very suspicious, and it's like really? Like they're just in space somewhere? Like, seriously? I mean, I'd figure the only way you get them is the 7 Beasts, and you go through that trial and you gather the material. And apparently Joey already had like a stockpile of it, and that was for the preparation to get into the furthest land, like Area 0. So I understand why Joey had that cookware, but I'm confused as to how he amassed that cookware. I mean, my guess here is that maybe because the blue nitro are so old, they may have gone elsewhere in like the universe, which is possible, I suppose. Because the blue nitro, they do know how to utilize the golden cookware in actual combat, so they do know what they're doing with it. But that's just my assumption. Like, it's not actually stated in the story, but my guess here is that it has to be because the blue nitro assisted Joa in actually getting the golden cookware from other parts, or they themselves, the blue nitro, amassed it and then they gave it to Joy because Joy was going to go in there with other chefs that she was controlling so they could prepare center. But again, that's all my assumption. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out later on. So then after all the golden cookware stuff, you have Ume talk about how he has the hidden power, the food luck. Him and Teppei are going to go off to the location of where Toriko and company are. And before they can leave, out comes Ume. And Apollo and Zaos are now going to fight against Ume. Mr. Chesthair. A freaking Zonge class character. Now an actual combatant. Like an actual fighter. I don't care if Toriko has the third Gourmet Demon come out. I don't care if you have every 8 King fighting against God. Plus Acacia or whatever. You better show me some fucking fighting of Umen. I have got to see this fucking fight. I must see how he fights. Okay? Like, that chest hair is deadly. What if he's on some, like, bo type of shit, and he has, like, hair powers. Like, his chest hair is like Bobo's nose hair. I must... I got it. Please. Mr. Toshi, give me at least, like, 10 pages. Give me 10 pages of Umen fighting. I must see this man fight. It has to happen. Oh my god. It's gonna be so epic. Please. Shit. Okay, so that's set up. Will we get to see some? I'm doubtful, but make it happen, bro. Make it happen. Then after that, and we're not done. Same chapter. Then after Umen and whatnot, we have Acacia talk about the back channels in greater detail. And this, I'm going to read to you what he says exactly. And by the way, this is Acacia talking to Toriko. So he says in that quote, "It seems you've eaten news, the meat dish of the full course, but do you understand the back channels that you can activate because of that, Toriko? Originally, the cell division of gourmet cells happened at the speed of light." Now, this is a Batoto translation. So on Batoto, they say that the cell division of the gourmet cells originally happened at the speed of light. But the manga stream version of that chapter said that the cell division occurs faster than the speed of light. And I continue. "When you eat news, that speed is restricted. By mastering that cell division, you can create a space that makes it as though time is stopped for the world around you. But that speed varies from person to person." That is something I did not know. No idea. But we continue. "I can raise the cell division speed to its maximum limit. I can create an overwhelmingly compressed space-time. Right now, only 1 second outside this space feels like 1 month inside it. In other words, you've been sentenced to 1 entire month of being at point-blank range of Neo." And he's looking at him. So, savage. Savage, yeah. So, that is some new stuff about the back channels, what comprises them, and when it comes to the difference of time from individual to individual. That is very fascinating. Do not know that. And Acacia laid it down. And that's pretty fucking beastly. I do like that. Woo! Compressing space and time to the point where 1 second equals 1 month. There is a lot of, like, I mean, not just space time, but mainly just time. There's a lot of time control in Toriko. There's a shit ton of it. Like, once you eat news, time control is free game. Like, bro. Like, shit. Okay. And finally, the last point of story progression is gonna be Toriko taking a chunk out of Neo's face, just biting it. And then him deciding, I'm gonna put you in my full course. He did what no one else has done before. Take a bite out of Neo. And it's explained why later on no one has done that to Neo. It's actually more so of like a gourmet demon thing. But that is all of the story progression for chapter 373. Now, for chapter 374. Number 1, the reason why no one has ever consumed Neo is because when it comes to powerful entities like gourmet demons can eat a whole lot of shit. But gourmet demons cannot eat one another. It's kind of like devil fruits in a way in One Piece. But basically, gourmet demons cannot eat each other. Because if they do, the strength of the cells is so potent because it is 100% gourmet cells. It's so potent that the energy winds up exploding both of them, unless they are extraordinarily powerful gourmet demons like Neo. But granted, my guess here is that it also ties to Neo coming from someplace else. The possible third universe, the original universe, which also may be where Toriko's third gourmet demon comes from as well. Fact of the matter is that Neo is so powerful to where it is inconceivable to take a bite out of Neo, because you yourself will die. It's actually a very similar thing to Don Slime. Don Slime stated that if someone tries to bite him, if someone tries to eat Don Slime, they wind up dying from the inside out. But when it came to Neo, he could do that because Neo is extraordinarily powerful compared to a lot of the gourmet demons and the monster trolls and whatnot. Toriko took a bite out of Neo, and Blue loved it. Blue fucking loved it. You know, actually, now I think about it, characterization, can I throw in Blue as well? I kind of want to throw in Blue. Yeah, because I never thought, you know what, I could throw in Blue. Because Blue, he acts so independent of Toriko. It's odd. Like Red and Toriko, I mean, granted, that's been his primary gourmet demon. So Red and Toriko, like when Toriko does the attack, it's normally like a Red combo attack. But Blue, when he does like the Devil Fork and like the Devil Spit, I mean, that's just all Blue. That's just him independent. So it's a little bit strange. But I should put Blue for characterization. Can Blue handle the gourmet soul energy of Neo? My guess here is no, but there is the third one who's probably like, ooh, snack, yeah, let's go, feed me more. So, let us move on. Characterization will throw in Blue as well, and that's going to be characterization mainly tailored for chapter 374. Now, going back to story progression. So we find out the reason why the gourmet demons don't really eat each other. And when it came to Jiro, that's also the reason why he was so powerful. Because he was eating, again, 100% gourmet cells from very powerful creatures. He could handle it because he was eating it since birth. And that's why he had like these very powerful dark cells, brother cells. Now, the next point of the story progression ties into the previous point, which is how the gourmet demons cannot eat each other because if they do, they'll die. And this ties to Center, and I quote, "That is the reason the Nitro are missing the nucleus of the gourmet cells, the appetizer Center, from their planet Full Course. It is dangerous for demons like the Nitro to eat Center directly. So there is a method by which they prepare Center to where they can actually consume Center safely, or they just ignore it altogether, which means that they have not eaten Acacia's actual Full Course. The Full Course, you start with the apps. You start with the apps, people. Appetizer. And it is the hors d'oeuvre, Center. So that is going to be crucial. Center is turning out to be much more important than God in many ways. Not even the Blue Nitro can consume Center. So more so, it's like they saved the Center for Acacia. And the next 3 points of the story are going to be relatively quick. So now you're going to have Blue and Red against Adam and Pear. Then you're going to have Starzun go one-on-one against Joa. So it's more fight setup. Unfortunately, though, the fight between Starzun, Tommy Rod, and Grimpatch against the former members of the Bushokukai, Nice Knee, Dorez, and the other one. And that fight ends off-screen completely, which was disappointing. But even more so was seeing how Joey had apparently fought Sunny, Coco, and Zebra for an hour, and their fight is supposedly done at this point in time. That is hugely disappointing. I am not a fan of that at all. Just beelining because we're rushing through all these fights. We're not even seeing some of these fights. And it's mainly focusing on like the main character, Toriko, and like his main battles and whatnot. So it's unfortunate that we're not going to see Zebra, Coco, and Sunny fight. That against Joey. No, that really does suck. It honest to God does. Because there was hype for that shit. And I wanted to see that a lot. But no. So, but maybe they'll come back to the fray at some point. Who knows? But you have another fight set up between Starzun and Joey. And this one, Starzun, and I quote, "Do you know whose child I am?" Now, it could be the case where he's Midori's kid. I mean, people are saying that. Listen, whoever is Starzun's father is also the father of Toriko. So, if Midori is Starjun's dad, then Midoriya's also Toriko's dad. I want to find out who his daddy is. I really, really do. But he just brought that shit up before the, like, it was random. Like, here Joey is walking towards Starjun. He's saying shit like, now to finish you off and get the cooking of God done. And then the first thing Starjun says, do you know whose child I am? Like random. Like, dude, what? It was a left field thing. Super left field. But either way, that is something that I do want to know, yes. So, it could be Midoriya. I mean, maybe, there's a chance that it could be like, fuck. There is a chance that it could be the case where Froze and Midoriya had kids. Or, ooh, wow. You know, let's pull back from that one. Yeah, let's, because Midoriya sees her as a mom, not necessarily a lover. So, yeah, that was more so a Cassia. Or at least that was what it's supposed to be, but we found out not the case because Cassia don't give a fuck. So, I mean, who is mom? I don't know. Who is dad? Could be Midoriya, but who? Midoriya was in a state, maybe of shock, but Midoriya was in a state after Froze died of like pure despair and whatnot. So I don't think Midoriya had any care in the world to take his utensil and stick it in some sugar walls. So, who? I don't know. We'll find out. We will find out for certain. And then finally, last point of story progression is going to be Otake finally getting behind God. He's going to start cooking it, but something is happening. So that being said, folks, I'm done. This is a long video. It's going to take me a while to edit it. It'll be up Monday for sure. So, 3 chapters. Wow. So, the only problem when it comes to these chapters is chapter 374, where you just have all these fights being skipped. You have good setups in chapter 372, but in chapter 374, I mean, fuck the fights. So, all in all, the rating is going to be this. Chapter 372, I'm going to say that was a good plus to great chapter. Chapter 373, very big on the substance there. That was a great chapter. Chapter 374, even though I like seeing Blue do crazy shit, I'm going to say that was just a good plus, or actually a good to good plus chapter. Because, again, you're skipping fights here. You know, I mean, I just want to say it's okay plus the good, honestly. Because I did want to see Sunny, Coco, and Zebra fight against Joey. I really fucking did, and that skipped. I mean, there could be poison dolls. There could be. There is that chance, because Coco, he's been doing that forever. And he is broken in that way. We are not too sure at this point in time. So that chapter, I'm going to keep it at around a good to good plus. And I'm done. So basically, it's 7.75, 8 for chapter 373, a great, and then a 7.5 for chapter 374, and I'm done. So King of Lightning, rate the video. If you made it all the way, then congratulations, you're a trooper. So once again, rate the video, comment, subscribe. Peace. Have a nice goddamn day. I told you guys that this was going to be a long video. A long video indeed.